I'm sure some of you got the bad news today. BlackMagic announced a 6K pocket cinema camera, and your favorite camera just died. I'm sorry for your loss. If you haven't seen the video where I talk about the specs, make sure you check out that video. But now we're going to talk about your loss. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Ty Turner here. And if this is your first time on my channel, first, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But this channel is designed for people like yourself that want to turn their passion of filmmaking or photography into profit. Strictly the business side of this industry. You can go to those other people on tutorials on how to make your pimples disappear. You come here when you're ready to turn that passion into profit and make some money. Okay. Let's talk about camera gear, because you got to know, you got to be up on the latest and greatest camera gear to make money in this industry. And if you have not been sleeping under a rug today or a rock today, and you watched our other video, you understand why we're here and what we're going to talk about. But for those that just missed it and somehow they see this video is to talk about how BlackMagic just pretty much killed your favorite camera by announcing a 6K pocket camera for $2,500. Now, it's a few things people spoke about in the comments that I really want to address with this video, and that's why this video happened so quickly. A lot of people are saying, oh, if it only had more stops at dynamic range, if it only had more stops at dynamic range, I'd go get this camera. You have to realize that your favorite camera that may shoot 4K, it says 15 stops of dynamic range, it's not really providing 15 stops of dynamic range because it's normally shooting at 8-bit or 10-bit. It's not providing enough color detail to give you those stops of dynamic range. So often, those extra 3 stops are somewhere buried in the blacks, and they can say 15 stops of dynamic range. It's easy to say it when 3 of them are 3 different shades of black. However, because you have 12-bit RAW with BlackMagic, you actually have all 13 stops of dynamic range, which makes it way more usable. That's how you can sit there and be like, guys, why is it that the image look better on my BlackMagic Pocket Cinema camera compared to my A7R Mark III that's 14 stops or my FS5 that's 14 stops? Why is that? And the reason is the bit rate is much better. It's 12-bit instead of 8-bit, which is a huge difference. We're talking about millions upon millions of colors. That is a major difference. When people say, oh, I got the C200, but internally I'm shooting either some crappy MP4 8-bit or I'm running through my CFast cards trying to record 12-bit or 10-bit. Now you know why. What's really dope about the BlackMagic Pocket Cinema camera, let's not worry about the 6K resolution. Let's just put that to the side for a minute, because a lot of people are hung up on that. What's really great about it is the fact that you get raw capabilities internally. Let's just chew on that for a minute. Taste that, leave that on the palate. Raw capabilities internally. Now, yes, you get that with the C200, but you don't get it at 6K. You don't get it this well with different flavors of RAW. B-RAW give you 1:1, 5:1, 8:1. You get so many different flavors, and you can record to an SD card. Just let that sit. For those who don't have a BlackMagic Pocket Cinema camera, they're like, what are you talking about? I can record 12:1 to an SD card at 4K. I don't know how that's going to work at 6K, but with the current 4K, I can definitely do that. And that's just something to think about. I get ProRes. All I need is ProRes and RAW. I don't need MP4. I don't care about it. ProRes, go right to the computer, edits fast. I'm great. I can edit it on any machine that's pretty much out right now. People are saying, oh, the 6K files are going to be huge. Those are people who've never used BlackMagic RAW before and see how small the files are compared to using or shooting a uncompressed 6K image. Why do I love, or why do I want a 6K image? For the same reason I want a 4K image. Two things. One, as an editor, it gives me a lot of information to work with, to cut in, to crop. That's why I love 6K. Two, I can charge my clients more. Rarely do I deliver any final video in 6K. However, I do have clients that want video in 4K, and I can flip the price, double the price, or whatever I need to do to make more profit. It's not more work for me. But if they want it in 4K, I'm normally shooting in 4K anyway. I usually deliver a 1080p. But if they want 4K, I can deliver 4K or 6K. So that's one of the main reasons as to why it's important for people that are looking to purchase a camera. We're going to get into the next reason right after this. This video is sponsored by Flash Film Academy, of course, and they create courses for people like yourself that want to turn their passion into profit, want to find out how to go in business and make money and attract big clients. We just released a training course that talks about how to create that portfolio to attract those big clients. Your portfolio right now may make it hard to attract companies like Walmart and Coca-Cola or, certain law firms in your area to do business with you. And we talk about why with that course. Check this out. So let me guess, your passion is this. And you want to attract this or this. So you can make more of this, but your portfolio or demo reel is not this. I've worked for these companies in the past. When it comes to finding a job or getting the attention of potential clients, a demo reel or portfolio with random clips and music won't cut it. And that's why I created this. The 5 key steps for creating an effective demo reel that converts. It's an online course designed to show you how to market your skills and past experience and create a video portfolio that's designed to blow away your competition and 10x your results. Remember, if you can't tell your story, how do you expect someone to hire you to effectively tell their story? Enroll today at Flash Film Academy. It's time to turn passion into profit. All right, now that you checked that out, let's talk about another reason. Recording media is huge. A lot of people want to talk about prices of cameras, but they don't want to talk about the price of recording media. If you got to buy CFast cards with your camera, you might as well add another $1,500 to the price of your camera because it's going to take you at least $1,500 worth of media to make it through one record day. You do not want to have to stop in the middle of a shoot to transfer media from a CFast card to your slow hard drive. Because I guarantee you probably don't have a 4 terabyte SSD laying around waiting for you to transfer files. It's probably a traditional backup hard drive that's going to take forever. With the BlackMagic Pocket Cinema cameras, I can connect a SSD hard drive via USB-C and go for it. That is a game changer in itself, and it's why these cameras are so important. Secondly, or thirdly, they're small. Small cameras are always better because that means smaller setups, smaller rigs, smaller, cheaper gimbals, and you have more flexibility, smaller sliders, smaller jibs. They can go in smaller places, and I never have a problem with a small camera that can produce great quality. And I think people don't take that in consideration. Also keep in mind, it's a cinema camera. And if you've seen the video that I released on why I sold my FS5, you got to keep in mind that it is modular. It is a modular camera. It's supposed to be added on, built on a rail system. It's supposed to be that way. If you go buy a Red Raven, it's a freaking box. The thing is this. People who normally buy Red Ravens and spend $8,000, $10,000 for just the box, and then they add another $5,000 of accessories, you don't hear them complaining, because when you get to the point where you're ready to spend $10,000 on a camera, you're really deep into the industry and you have the education and understanding of what takes place on a higher end camera. Because this price point, it's way below that, and it's targeted at DSLR and mirrorless users who don't have that experience and that expertise. Often you'll hear people complain about things like no autofocus, or, oh, the audio is this, or I got to add that, and I want to just grab it and go. Mirrorless and DSLR cameras have kind of spoiled you in the grab and go thing. But what you've been giving up going that route is you've been giving up your ability to capture all of the data off your sensor. You've been giving up the ability to have full control over your camera. for something that's compact and small. Compare it to an iPhone. You can get great footage out of an iPhone. However, when you use that stock photo app, you give up, using that iPhone with that stock photo app, you're giving up a lot compared to a DSLR, which allows you to shoot in RAW and control shutter speed and everything. That's just to kind of give you an idea, not an exact comparison, but shooting with an iPhone will give you 4K. It won't let you control everything like shooting with a DSLR. Now that comparison is shooting with a mirrorless or DSLR compared to a cinema camera. It's a cinema camera. It's built for image quality first. Everything else is secondary. Another reason why your camera that you own now is dead is the fact that the 6K Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera offered dual native ISO. Goodbye GH5, goodbye FS5. If you have one, you may want to put it for sale before people catch on. If you got an FS700, I really feel sorry for you. If you got any Canon C200, I'll let you pass because it's 4K. I mean, you gotta look at this camera. You got to take a look at this camera. And there are some things that you just, internal RAW, no Adamus recorder, like I had the FS5 Mark 1 and Mark 2. They were good cameras. I got tired of using the big Adamus recorder. I love Adamus, great company, by the way. But I just got tired. By the time I was getting ready to sell it, they finally came out with the 5-inch version. And it's just a pain, man. It's just running the cables, the cords, the batteries. To have this internally, gosh, thank you, Blackmagic. I said that in another video, but thank you. It's just much better to deal with. On top of the fact that you have a camera company that has a great relationship with a editing suite, a coloring suite, a audio suite, you're not fighting and hoping and waiting for RAW updates to roll out to Adobe Premiere in hopes that they can cover and work with every file that pulls out of your camera. It sucks to have a camera that shoot RAW and you're waiting a month or two for updates to roll out so that you can edit RAW. Right now, if you got an FS5 and you're shooting in, ProRes RAW, you're subject to one editing suite, and that sucks. The relationship between Blackmagic and itself with the software makes this camera a winner. I hear a lot of people who are like, I'm selling my Blackmagic, it's not right for me. They're not cinema camera users. You gotta be a cinema camera user. And it's completely different than a video camera user. So those are things just to keep in mind as you think about the 6K camera. It's shooting at 6K. The website said 50 frames per second. I'm sure that's the Australian version. It'll probably shoot 60 frames per second in the US. Now, there's one big caveat we need to talk about. The A7S III may not be able to compare with the 6K Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, even if it comes out at 6K. The reason being is the A7S III is not going to give you RAW recordings internally. They may give it to you externally via an HDMI port, but they're not going to give it to you RAW internally. And I'm going to tell you that for two reasons. One, with the heating issues that Sony's had, I just don't see them doing it. I think that is what's causing the delay in the release of the A7S III. That's just my thought. That's just me thinking. That is not no realness to that, but that's just why I'm thinking. That's a major issue. You may get an 8K A7R III, you may get a 6K A7R III, but it's not going to give you RAW internally. It may give you 10-bit internally. I doubt if it gives you 12-bit internally. I'm pretty sure it won't give you 12-bit or 14-bit internally. You may be able to access that externally. Now, Nikon's, they're just not up for debate simply because they use Sony sensors. So Sony's never going to give Nikon a better product than they can put out, at least not for long. What they did was they pulled back, gave Nikon the chipset, let Nikon come out with their mirrorless lineup to get back in the game, and then Sony plans to just come in behind it and crush it like they did with the A7R IV. So that is something that Nikon is just not, they do great. I'm not knocking Nikon. I had a chance to speak with those guys at NAB. They're great guys. But until they develop their own sensor, they're going to kind of be behind the curve. Companies to watch out for are companies like Panasonic. Canon, let's just be real. They're asleep at the wheel right now, man. I used to be a Canon diehard fanboy. They're just asleep at the wheel. I don't know. I wish I can tell you something good about the Canon lineup, but it's just not relevant anymore when it comes to video. They have great autofocus. I think the next iteration of Sony cameras is going to eliminate that. The A7R Mark IV has eliminated the dual pixel autofocus lead. The next camera from Sony that I think that will be able to compete with this camera, even remotely near the price point, if rumors are true, will be the A9S. I think the A9S will be a powerhouse, but Sony has the A7 to worry about. They've never been shy about stepping over those cameras, so they may still do it, but those are just things you have to keep in mind. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is a steal. It is a game-changing disruptor. The 6K version is a punch in the mouth. A 6K version is, what are you gonna do? What are y'all gonna do about it? That's pretty much what they said with the 6K version. There's nothing, you can't ask for more. You got an EF mount, you got Super 35 sensor. They didn't even have to give me a bigger sensor. I thought they were gonna come out with like a Metal Bones adapter that would have took the Micro Four Thirds to EF. I would have been happy with that. Like, okay, here's my $300. Cool. They gave us a whole new camera with a larger sensor. I didn't think it was gonna be 6K. If he would have said it was 4K, I still would have been cool. They gave us more resolution. So there's nothing close. The Red Raven is done. 15,000. If you bought a Red Raven and it's still within 30 days, return it. It's done. If you got a FS5, you just bought it, FS7, return it. It's done. Yeah, unless you have a C200 or you need dual pixel autofocus, it's not really much to talk about, man. Listen, Blackmagic gave you $20,000 worth of camera for $2,500. This is not the first time they did. And there are going to be people that just don't like it. There's people who just stick with Canon because it's Canon. And that's what they do. You have to realize this. This is a story I tell other photographers and videographers. Listen, 20 years ago, the camera industry was a niche camera guy industry. It was for just straight up camera guys. It's now an IT industry. It's now a tech industry. So with tech evolves quickly. Camera guys, I'm a Nikon guy. That's all I buy. It's the greatest stuff on earth. Meanwhile, with tech, things change fast. Companies grow and shrink overnight, and you don't hold on to Intel because it's the greatest, and you got a company like AMD that's killing it, making better products. And if you talk to older guys, they're stuck in their, camera mentality of just holding on to this old stuff because that's what my dad used and his dad used, and it doesn't work like that no more. Camera companies are now tech companies, and you have to approach it the same way you approach a laptop, a computer, or any other high-tech gadgets that you buy. There may be a company you never heard of that kicks in the door and whoops butt, and you can't hold on to it. You have to explore and see what's out there, and don't be afraid to jump ship. Blackmagic's giving you everything you need to jump ship. It's up to you to either be the guy that hold on to old gear or the guy that gets the newest, latest, and greatest. Some people don't want to learn nothing new, so they don't do it. But for those who are like me, who want to offer your clients the best, and if you can do it at a price point that doesn't put you out of business, that Blackmagic Pocket 6K is going to put you in a position to steal a whole lot of clients that's requesting Reds for $2,500. It's a no-brainer. All right, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Listen, please hit that subscribe button. We're going to come out with a whole lot more content. Check out the quick tips of the week that we post every Monday, and I will see you guys in the next video.